I've just got this really strong sense that I'm about to be busted here. Where should I put you? Sort of don't want to show my breasts too much. Sorry about that. Hello, my juicy peaches. Welcome back to my channel. It's your Priestess Peaches here, supporting you to live your juiciest life and co-create a heavenly world. I feel like I need a little jingle for that. Something along the lines of live your most juicy life and co-create a heavenly world. Could I get any more cheesy? Or any more cringe? I think not. I want to share with you something personal, but then not make it personal because I feel like this can be quite helpful. So this video is going to be about your Dharma. It's going to be about if you have been feeling lost or existential, or if you have been wondering about your purpose, if you're multi-passionate, and if you just want to know a little bit about this beautiful ancient, hold on, got a little fly, beautiful ancient concept that is often described as your purpose, your sacred path, your duty in the world. And honestly, since my dad passed away, or just before my dad passed away, I have been cycling through what I now know is a pattern of sabotage about questioning my Dharma, questioning purpose, and slipping into like existential mode. And then because of that sabotage, then feeling imposter syndrome, feeling unmotivated, feeling uninspired, or feeling like, I guess it's a form of depression. It's like a what's the point kind of thing. But it's mainly sort of imposter syndrome. And this sabotage cycle has been playing out since my dad passed away. It sent me in a spin about what really matters to me, what's most important to me, whether I'm living true to what matters to me and what's most important to me. And I know for some people, purpose, living purpose, meaning, having meaning and purpose isn't like the be all and end all, or isn't what they are desiring. But my personality type, being a mediator in the old, what's it called? I want to say Griggs. Can't think what it's called. Personality test, mediator. I need meaning. I need purpose. I like meaning for things. Oh, this goose is walking up the pathway to come and join us. Hello, Goosey. She's just so sweet. She just keeps me company. I think they're nesting or about to nest or something. So this goose is always around. Anyway, can't remember what I was saying. Literally can't remember. Yeah, I question if what I'm doing is meaningful enough, if I'm doing enough for the things that are meaningful to me, if I am living on purpose, if I'm living on the right path. Is this what I'm meant to be doing? Could I be doing more? Should I be doing something different? I have a tendency of overthinking and like over analyzing, and yeah, also in my human design and my astrology, it bodes well for me to be doing something with purpose and meaning. But there's different ways you can look at this, and I want to just share what I've been, I guess, looking into and what's been helping me when I cycle through this pattern of what I now realize is sabotage. Yes, they're real questions, they're meaningful questions, and they do matter, but actually I'm just sabotaging myself by going too deep into them all the time. Not all the time, but what I realize is I'm just sabotaging myself by going into those thoughts, rather than just allowing what is here to emerge and being more in my feminine energy. When you're trying to figure it all out, that's when you are in your masculine thinking space, and as great as that can be, sometimes it can go into the wounded, where it is actually sabotaging you and preventing you from your Dharma, funnily enough. For me, I am a multi-passionate person. There are umbrella themes throughout everything I teach, of course, but I'm multi-passionate. And what I've realized is that I kind of have what I call my pleasure purpose and then my pain purpose. And I've questioned whether I should be focusing on the pain stuff, like the heavy stuff, which is very, very, very meaningful to me and really matters to me and feels like a major part of why I exist. And that is about healing the abuse of innocence, healing child sexual abuse, healing animal sexual abuse, animal abuse, child abuse. These causes matter to me most in the world. They are the two things, which is really one thing. The abuse of innocence matters to me the most in this world. This is really weird. I've just got tinnitus in my left ear just as I'm speaking about this, and it feels really like something, some kind of frequency just happened. Just as I said that, I know that sounds really weird. I know it could just be tinnitus, but that was it's still kind of there. I can feel something happening. Okay. I do know that is part of my purpose. And I do know I have been feeling like I'm not doing enough towards those causes and those things that matter to me most. But staying in this feeling of not enoughness is really unhealthy, because I need to trust that I am enough. And actually, my pleasure purpose, which I'll come on to in a sec, is very much linked. And it matters just as much, and it is needed in order for those other things to actually come into the 3D, into fruition. So my pleasure purpose is all about the masculine and feminine dynamic, the wounded masculine and feminine and the empowered masculine and feminine. And it's all about relationship. It's all about love and pleasure, but not just any old pleasure, like really healthy, empowered pleasure, and love and relationship and well-being and intimacy and conscious living. So that's my pleasure. That's my pleasure purpose. And my pain purpose is the deeper whys, why I'm doing that. And the deeper things that matter to me. And I keep switching between, should I do this? Should I do that? And it's taking me out of my flow state now and then. This happened after my dad passed away. I didn't know who I was for a while. I really didn't. I had an identity crisis. Not gender or anything like that, but identity crisis. Like, I questioned everything. And the sabotage, which was actually just a process of discovery, lasted months at a time, where I couldn't be online, I couldn't be of service. I was healing a lot. And now the cycle happens much quicker. I'm able to recognize that what was once a process of discovery has become a process of sabotage, basically. So anyway, that's just a bit about, I can't believe I've already been speaking for 11 minutes, but that's just a bit about what I have been experiencing. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. And it causes me to feel like I should quit, or that I'm not good enough. There's better people doing what I'm doing. Who am I to do what I'm doing? And it causes me to want to quit. But then I know there's nothing else that I want to be doing. I know that in my heart and my feeling space, but I'm overthinking, I'm spiraling in my mind when it happens. So I've been reading up about Dharma, and it's been, I know about this anyway, just through Tantra, through yoga, and just my own exploration over the years. But I've been looking into Dharma. So let me share with you a little bit about what Dharma is. So I've got my notes here, so I'm going to be looking down. I hope that's okay. I just like to bring my notes with me so I don't forget anything. And yeah, I get kind of carried away sometimes, so and taken off course and on tangents. So I need to have notes. So in traditional Hinduism, Dharma is your soul's role in the cosmic order, and it's kind of like your duty in the world. And it can often be linked to, sorry, there's an aeroplane. Leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again. It's taking ages to fly over because it's so high. So yeah, what was I saying? Dharma in Hinduism, it's kind of like your duty, your role, your responsibility. It gives people a sense of structure and purpose. And I guess I used to resist. I guess I don't particularly, in other contexts, I don't really like the term duty. I don't really like people doing things out of duty. I prefer if people were to do things out of desire. But actually, the term duty really helped me recently because I heard someone say it in a video, and I realized it's not the duty when it comes to my Dharma is not about obligation. It is more about my responsibility to share my wisdom, to share what I know to be true, and to be expressed and to be a voice. And I feel like that is my responsibility. And you could say duty, but it doesn't feel like obligation. And I feel like that responsibility is really empowering. And on the days where I'm going into my overthinking existential thing, sabotage thing, when I think of my responsibility in this world, my responsibility to this earth, my responsibility to the animals, the children, my responsibility to women, to couples, to you, that inspires me. That brings me back into this grounded state of desire. It doesn't feel like a burden. It doesn't feel like a obligation. It doesn't feel like a pressure. It feels like grounded, anchored in, like I know in my heart and soul this is my Dharma, and it's my responsibility to share it. And that feels good. And then I start coming into this fun space of like, okay, I get to share this however I want. And I come into that creativity, that inspiration, the feminine energy. So actually that word duty, it took on a whole new meaning to me, where it feels like divine responsibility, juicy divine responsibility that isn't, it feels empowering and it feels uplifting. It doesn't feel scary. In the past, it felt scary because I would go into this like fear that what I have to say could be harmful in some way or may harm someone. And that fear is still there because that potentially is a possibility. Something I say might be unhelpful or even harmful to someone else. And that is never my intention. But that used to wipe me out as well, this fear. Whereas now, this sense of duty, this sense of responsibility, I feel like I'm in my empowered feminine and my empowered masculine with that. And it feels good. It feels like, oh, this anchors me back in. This reminds me it's not all about me. And it humbles me and it inspires me. So there's that aspect. And then, so that's in like Hinduism. And I'm reading the, what's it called? Bhagavad Gita. Is that how you say it? I'm reading that book again at the moment. And it speaks a lot about Dharma in there. And yeah, it's like the positive aspect of duty. It's more like It's not duty in the sense of obligation. Anyway, I've already shared that. So then in Tantra, your Dharma, it's a different way of looking at it, kind of different take in a way. In Tantra, your Dharma, it's not about like some external duty. It's more about your embodied truth. It's more about your passion. It's more about the path that arises from your life force energy, your creativity, your pleasure. It includes your pain as well, but it includes your pleasure, your desires, your joy, your traumas, your life experience. And it's not just about choosing what feels most important necessarily, or what has most meaning necessarily. It's about being deeply aligned with what feels true in your life moment to moment. And it's about seeing all of this as an adventure, a divine adventure, an experiment, and seeing the divine within that process, within your human process. That's the kind of tantric view that I have come across, and that really inspired me to live a life of healthy pleasure and passion. So here's what I have come to understand about my own Dharma. I'll just go into a little bit more detail than what I shared before. So like I said, I feel like I've got two types of purpose. One is the pain purpose, one is the pleasure purpose. And my pain purpose, if you will, has come from my own personal journey of healing from childhood sexual abuse, and from realizing what goes on in this world when it comes to the abuse of animals. And it comes from this deep inner knowing of right and wrong with that. And I know there's many spiritual people that will say, from source perspective, there's no right or wrong. I beg to differ on this matter. I think that the human perspective is just as important, and the abuse of innocence is wrong. That's my view on it. You are entitled to your view. And that's the beauty of life. We're all different. And I do understand source perspective, yada, yada, but those are things that I personally can't know for sure. From my human-y self, I can't know for sure, even if I have this divine experience from source perspective. I still don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is that the suffering of innocence and the victimization of innocence is cruel and harmful. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to recommend that no one else does that. And so, yeah, it's come about through my own journey from going down a path of hedonism, toxic hedonism, debauchery, toxic relationships, toxic money, being a stripper for nearly 7 years in my 20s, and living a party life. And of course, it was awfully amazing, yet amazingly awful, as I like to say. And really, these pain purposes have come from my own pain and what I've witnessed and what I've experienced through those years and years of suppression of my deepest, darkest inner knowings and truth. And I tried to avoid and suppress and ignore those truths for many years through all those toxic ways that I just shared. And so it's through holding space for the hard stuff and doing the shadow work and going there with myself that I recognize that it is something I am deeply called to share about and shift beyond just me, or support the shift beyond just me when it comes to those things. And then my pleasure purpose is teaching about feminine energy, the empowered feminine. It is all about love, well-being, pleasure, sexuality, sacred sexuality, helping women, helping couples enjoy their life, their relationship. It's about communication, self-worth. It's about conscious living. And it's reminding us that healing isn't just about pain. It's also about pleasure. It's about allowing good into your life. It's about enjoyment. It's about creating a standard for yourself in your life, and having boundaries, and letting yourself receive the positive. And it's about coming alive, being alive, right? What I've been learning is not one is more important than the other. And they are both very deeply interlinked. The way in which I see that I am here to help women and couples and people is by expressing what I know and being of service and supporting women and teaching about the masculine and feminine dynamic, and teaching about conscious living, and teaching about sacred sexuality. Because these things, when a person is living in alignment with those things and embodied in those things, this is gonna, I feel, have a knock-on effect on the collective. Like, when you are living in alignment with your life force energy, from compassion and empathy and love and pleasure and emotional maturity as best as possible. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be healed, but as long as you are practicing, you don't want to harm others, you don't want it have ill will towards others, you don't want to harm innocent animals. And I feel like the more we can shift, the more it's going to shift on a collective, and hopefully we can heal these imbalances and perversions and twisted things that go on in the world, more and more. That is my hope. That is my hope, I guess. And I don't often use the word hope because sometimes that can, I don't know, it's like 50-50, isn't it? But that's my intention. That's my idea. That's my thoughts around it. And sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough for the pain purpose aspects of things, or that I should just focus on CSA and veganism, and that those things are worthier causes. But I also need the balance of the pleasure and the pain. And through my own personal journey of integration, healing, embodiment, one of the things that has served me incredibly well is it just seems to happen naturally, but before a time of deep introspection and pain path in my own journey, I often have this surge of orgasmic energy, pleasure, creativity, inspiration, and it almost fuels me and helps me to get through that pain time. And then after the pain is, after the rain comes the sun. After the rain comes sun. After the sun comes rain again. What is that? Anyway, your Dharma is just living your life. It is living your responsibilities, living out the things that are required of you in your life. So your Dharma may not be just one thing. You may be like me, you may be multi-passionate. You may be a multi-dimensional teacher, guide. Your Dharma may be just this sense of duty and responsibility you feel to speak truth when others stay silent. Your Dharma may just be the desire you have to share what you've learned, even when it feels messy. Your Dharma may be the joy of simply walking in nature, dancing in a field, and letting your Shakti move through you. Your Dharma could be the grit and the determination to keep going, even when the mind is telling you none of this matters. Dharma is living fully awake and aware, even when it's inconvenient. It is honoring the whole of you, not just the polished parts of you that you want others to see. So if you've ever felt like your Dharma, your work is too light or too heavy, or like you're flip-flopping between callings and that you're confused and feeling lost, I just want to tell you that you're not lost. You're actually deepening. You're deepening your Dharma. You're deepening your whys. You're deepening your process. And there's nothing to worry about. And if you can just come back to that sense of responsibility to anchor you in and ground you, keep sharing what you know to be true, keep shining your wisdom, that is enough. You are enough. Everything you're doing is enough. Everything you're being is enough. You are enough. Without anything else, your existence is enough. That is your Dharma. Maybe your Dharma isn't just one thing. Maybe your Dharma is like a living, breathing dance between trauma and healing, between love and truth, between joy and service, between pleasure and pain. And that's okay. You're not lost, my lovely. You're just deepening. You're stretching into a new layer of understanding. You're not here to carry the weight of the whole world, but you are here to love it. You're here to embody beauty, to speak truth, and to dance between light and dark with grace. You are needed, and you are enough. So, stop gatekeeping your own wisdom. Have acceptance that you are a multi-dimensional teacher. Let me know in the comments what you do. What is your pain purpose? What are your deeper whys? What is your pleasure purpose? And what are your deeper whys? And do they relate? Do they connect? And what does Dharma mean to you? What do you know about Dharma? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you where you are on your journey. And also ask me any questions. Let's have a conversation. I really want to create a community here. So conversations are welcome, and any questions you have, I may be able to create new videos answering your questions. If you have been enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know if you resonate with this, if you've been on a similar path, or if you have clients that have been on a similar path to what I've been going through. And if you want to become part of this juicy community, please do feel free to subscribe to my channel. So I am going to love you and leave you now. I am wishing you an amazing day. And as always, remember to keep it juicy.